What's up, guys? It's Crash, and Hotfix 5.2 is not going well for Gray Zone Warfare, and probably not how Madfinger Games expected it to go, and definitely not how I expected it to go. So if you guys saw my last video, I might get some rough comments today, and they are potentially deserved. So I want to talk about the situation at hand, what is going on with Gray Zone Warfare right now and this patch and how people are finding it, as well as some things I think need to change, as well as some things I really want to change within our own community around Gray Zone Warfare. And you know, we're kind of where we're at right now. Like, there's nothing we can do to change where we're at with the game right now. But what we can change is how we respond to it and how we deal with these things moving forward. So I would like to make some changes around this community and kind of build a little bit of a testing community around different hardware and good communication within my Discord server. And if we find some of these things out ahead of time, I would like to bring it forward to the devs, and maybe we can get some of these headed off before we have another situation like this. If you guys haven't seen it, if you haven't seen what's going on around Reddit and Discord, and over on Twitter to a little bit lesser extent, people are having a hard time with Hotfix 5.2, and I am surprised about it because I had a good experience, which I'll get into in just a little bit. If you guys saw my last video, you already kind of know that. But people are having a lot of performance issues, big performance drops, as well as crashes. Some people are crashing every single time they ADS. People are crashing on choppers, and a lot of stuff is just not going well. It sounds like for 5.2. And I know, you know, kind of how these things work, right? Like, the people that are playing and having a good time and doing fine are not going to say anything. They're probably just going to keep playing the game. They're not going to take to social media and voice their concerns like somebody who is unable to play the game right now. But there are definitely enough people having a hard time that we can see on Reddit, Discord, and Twitter that Gray Zone Warfare is asking for our help. They're saying if you're experiencing FPS issues, if you're experiencing crash issues, to fill out a Google form. The link is on their Twitter page. I can put the link down below in the description as well if you guys want to help out. But it seems to be a pretty straightforward Google form where it asks kind of your in-game name as well as your hardware and what you're experiencing. So it sounds like Gray Zone Warfare is a little bit unsure of what is going on as well, because they're trying to investigate what is going on. But maybe if they can get enough people to answer, they can get this data kind of tabulated on people's builds and brands of GPUs and CPUs and kind of narrow down what is going on with this hotfix and why a lot of people are having trouble. And it's definitely not across the board. So as you guys know, and you saw on my last video, and I definitely feel a little bit bad about it, right? Like, I was hyping up Hotfix 5.2, and you guys can see in the gameplay behind me, this is 5.2 that I played over my lunch break today. So it's still working for me. I'm still getting 10 to 15%, or excuse me, 10 to 15 more frames kind of throughout, clearing Sawmill and stuff like that. In my video, I talked about how Tiger Bay is definitely still an issue. The Midnight Sapphire is still really rough on performance. Anywhere there's a ton of high tiered AI is still an issue with FPS for me, but everywhere else I saw a modest improvement in frames. And I did caveat in that video that I do have an RTX 4090, right? I said that in the video. A lot of people ask what GPU I have. I tell them and they're like, oh yeah, for sure. But to add to that, like I've said before, I play the game at 1440. I stream a 1080p stream to twitch.tv/crash8. So we stream 1080. And I also record a third kind of render settings. I record a third feed to 1440p high quality that you guys see in these videos. They record my gameplays that I can talk over for these videos. So I'm doing kind of 3 different renders of the game. So I'm putting the card through its paces. And the reason I thought it would propagate down to everybody was, right, like, if I'm, you know, my GPU is maxed out at 100%. I have a little bit of a CPU bottleneck. I have a 1200 series Intel. It's a few generations old CPU. So I thought, you know, I'm CPU bottlenecked like many people. I thought that it would propagate down to kind of everybody, but that is definitely not the case. Like I said, reports of people crashing when ADS, big time frame drops for people, crashing on the chopper, among other things. I played with a friend of mine also over my lunch break who has a 2080 Ti, and he was able to play and get through things, but he's usually playing on 1080p around 60 frames. He could see just a little bit more frame dips and a little bit less. It was still playable, but definitely less frames than he's used to by a little bit. So I was very surprised by that. And all that to say is I want things to be different with these patches, and I want to come to the table when I make these videos for you guys. The fact that so many of you have been watching my videos means the world to me, and you guys are my first priority, right? Like, I don't make these videos to watch myself back later. They're not for me. The videos are for you guys. I want to provide you guys value, good information, as entertaining as I can be when doing these discussion type videos and this commentary. They're for you guys, and I want there to be the best information. So going forward, I would really like to make some changes in the community. If you guys want to, I would be honored if you would join the Discord. The link's down in the description below if you want to join the Discord. I have a Gray Zone Warfare text channel in there, as some news channels as well for Gray Zone Warfare. Next time this comes out, let's, as a community, I would love to see several of you in there. I will try to put out some questions that people can answer and maybe build some threads about the next time these hot fixes come out, because it is a little bit on the community as well. Not 100% of the blame definitely by any means goes to the community, but these hot fixes are put out for everyone to test. I tested it ahead of time. I did fine with it, so I thought everything's going to be peachy. That was not the case. But next time, I would love to have our own community in my Discord. I can put out some threads when these things go live and see what you guys are experiencing. It really is easy to pop over and test out the test build. It's just a couple clicks within Steam. It'll download the patch ahead of time and you guys can test it out. So next time, I would love it. More of us join the Discord server. I can get in there and ask you guys questions, and we can kind of put some things together. And if we start to see some themes, we start to see some rush issues, we start to see some problems with this being too soon, or some patches that are going to be a problem, or some bugs, frame drops, we can maybe have a collective group of us that can put this stuff together, and we can take it to the devs and say, hey, this isn't ready next time. I would love that. So that way, and in turn, it would also make my videos better, right? Like, as of now, I was just reporting on my experience, but if I could report on the experience of my community, people coming and watching these videos would get some better information as well. So I want to take this experience, and I genuinely feel bad about it, because I could have misled some of you into thinking that this patch was going to be great. And it didn't turn out to be that way. And I'm sure Madfinger Games is kind of feeling the same way, right? Like, apparently they wouldn't have purposely put this out if it was going to be buggy and have problems for people and be unplayable for a large part of the community. So I'm hoping Gray Zone Warfare can learn from these things too. Maybe leave these patches out a little bit longer to be tested, maybe test a little bit longer, because if you think about where Madfinger Games is right now, player numbers are dropping a lot. That's the elephant in the room. That's, you know, I mean, that's just is what it is. Anybody can look it up on Steam charts. Player numbers are dropping, but I don't think people are leaving the scene, right? I don't think they're throwing their hands up and saying, I'm never coming back to Gray Zone Warfare. The read I get on the community, you can tell me if I'm out of place here, but the read that I get on the community is that a lot of people are waiting, right? They're waiting in the wings. They're watching to see what happens. They're watching these patches to see if we get better optimization. They're watching to see whenever they're going to add the day-night cycle, when we're going to get a wipe, when they're going to add new guns, when they're going to add the fobs, the bases around that factions can fight over, when they're going to add new AI factions, new quests, open up the end game. There's a lot coming to this game, and I think a ton of players. We went from 70,000 down to, you know, sub 10,000 players. I haven't looked at it recently, but I think a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines and watching this. Madfinger Games knows this, so they're walking a fine line between, we got to get these patches out quick to show people we're working on the game, but as we found out now, this one might have went out just a little bit too soon. So within the Crash community, I want to do a little bit better my due diligence and ask more people how they're experiencing the public test environment. So if you're one of those people that test it, I would love for you to come to my Discord. Again, that's how I want to do things differently. I want to investigate these patches ahead of time a little bit more, so I can bring you a better idea of what's coming down the pipeline. As well as I hope Madfinger Games is learning a little bit as well from this, because, you know, they're new to the PC world. They're new to taking a game through early access like this. And as long as they're taking situations like this and learning from it, and next time it's better, I don't think we can find fault with it. I've honestly lived my life with mistakes. Like, mistakes are only bad if you repeat it, right? Like, if you have a mistake and if you learn from it, I don't really call that a mistake. I actually call that learning. But if you make a mistake and you keep repeating it, that's where we're going to have issues, and that's where we start to lose faith in things. So seeing this from Madfinger Games, the fact that they're working on it and they're getting into it right away to be able to investigate what's going on, they put out this form for everyone to check out, I think it's definitely a good sign. It's still a bummer to me because of all those people on the sidelines, right? All those people on the outside looking in are going to see this, and it doesn't feel good to have a patch come out that is not in good shape. So hopefully we can all learn it. Like I said, I want to do things differently on my end. I hope Mad Finger Games can do things a little bit differently on their end, and we can avoid this situation and keep moving forward in the future. These incremental updates can keep pushing us in the right direction and not reverting us down into the wrong direction. So hopefully there's a new patch to fix this upcoming. I will keep you guys posted. Let me know how you're finding the game down in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, because what we thought we were gonna get, some AI fixes, some performance upgrades, less rubber banding, some quests fixed. It was all gonna be good. That's what I experienced over on the test server. And when it went out to everybody, that was not the case. So again, if you feel misled by me, I sincerely apologize. That is never my intention. I hope you guys know that I try to always be as honest as I possibly can. And my first allegiance, my first obligation is to you guys and giving you good information, giving you guys mildly entertaining videos. I do the best I can, like I said, but making videos that you guys enjoy watching and can get value out of is always my first priority. And I hope you guys know that. If you made it to the end of the video, I cannot thank you enough. And I really do hope to see you on the next one.